It's me, the D-O double G. Welcome to the Eden Army Podcast with your host tonight, Pete Robert Tucci.
All right, let's go. Eden Army, welcome to the show tonight. Of course, my name, according to Snoop, D-O-double-G, AI version, is Pete Robert Tucci. You are on the Eden Army Podcast on a Friday night. We're live every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're trying to stream over there on YouTube. We're on Kick. We're on Rumble. And we got a whole bunch of things going on tonight. So I wasn't planning on doing any news, but all of a sudden I turned on CNN and Fox today, and there's all kind of stuff going on. So actually, we're not going to go through the news, but I will give you the highlights. Biden apparently is mocking Trump because he's on trial and not able to campaign. Israel strikes back at Iran, made an idiot out of me. I swore that that wasn't going to happen, that they would only attack Hezbollah, but apparently I'm wrong. That's why they're military geniuses, and I am not. We went and seen a Civil War movie. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then a St. Augustine, Florida man decides he's going to go ahead and fly up to New York City, stand outside of the Trump trial, and set himself ablaze. So we're going to talk about all of that. We're also going to talk about our series number 2 of our medical series. And we're going to talk about the March algorithm. But the first thing we're going to do is pay some bills and get a quick commercial about Mountain Readiness, Russ. Go ahead and run it. There you go. That's our friends over at Mountain Readiness. And of course, we will be there as well as some other places this summer. So I'll put our schedule of appearances up at some point. But before we get into all that other stuff, I'd like to talk about something. It's not very often that you meet a group of people and then for the first time you instantly realize that they're genuinely good people. There's no agenda there. There's no BS, just solid, honest folks. And that's the way I felt when I first met our guest tonight, Robert Toombs. Now, admittedly, I don't know a whole lot about T, so I'm looking forward to learning more about him here with you guys. So, Robert Toombs, welcome to the Eden Army Podcast, sir. It is good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Pete. Same here. It's crazy is we've been around each other quite a bit in the past year, but we just didn't have the chance to really talk much. So it's great that I'm able to get on here with you and delve into what you're about and what I'm about as well.
Well, and you're right, because, you're always so busy in Mountain Readiness. I'm a freak at those things because I don't know, I'm the new guy. I'm all nervous. I want to shake hands. I want to kiss babies. I want to do all that stuff. I feel I owe it to people that are spending their hard-earned money on my silly little books. But last year at the first Mountain Readiness, I was like a last-minute sign-up kind of guy. I was new to the whole marketing thing, new to the whole book scene. And you guys welcomed me in like a rock star, and I really, really appreciate that. So Robert T, I'm gonna call you T. T, what is Mountain Readiness? What is it? What does it mean to you?
Oh, for sure, man. It's and Pete and I apologize again for that that Canva we put out with you, where we just displayed you all over the place. It was kind of it was an inside joke. I don't know if anybody actually saw that thing, but we had a good time with it. And Pete, you're just one of them guys that you roll with the punches, and it was a blast. We loved having you there. But Mountain Readiness, I mean, to me, was it was about bringing people together to network and learn from one another. In this day and age, especially within the preparedness community, it is real easy to want to cut off and seclude yourself from the world. I find myself quite often wanting to just stay here on the back 40 and, not see a single soul for as long as possible. And while that's fine to a certain degree, and I understand why we want to do these things, the truth of the matter is that when we lock ourselves away from civilization and fellowship and quit and stop fellowshipping with like-minded individuals, we can't grow as people. So Mountain Readiness to me is about like-minded people coming together, fellowshipping, sharing ideals, and learning from one another, and that's how we grow as people.
Absolutely, 100%. But and you're right, and it's everybody was just so welcoming there, and it's nice to be around. And I tell you, it's a nice to be around like-minded people for one. But I've never felt safer at any event. I'll tell you that much than, than over there at your place. I mean, anyway, long story short, we won't get into all of that. But look, man, I watch you work from sun up to sundown during this expo, this Mountain Readiness Expo, and you are just, I mean, you're working like a dog. You don't have time to hang out and maybe take classes and stuff like that. So what in the world, T, made you want to go into this kind of venture?
Pete, I ask myself that same thing every single day. Um, we did some events throughout the years, and we just felt like we were lacking something. We'd leave these certain events, and we felt like we needed something more. And I told Amber, my wife, I said, we can do this. We can do this better. We can bring people together and do something more and something greater than what's out there. And so I thought it would be easier. Come to find out, it's not quite as easy as what one may think. And it is. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work going into these just the planning, just down to the schedule. I mean, we just finalized the schedule last week, and when you're trying to take 40 instructors and 70 something classes and make them all fit in a 3-day event, it is mind boggling to make that all come together, especially for a husband wife team. And that's kind of about when it comes to the planning side of this. So, but for us, this is we enjoy the network, and we enjoy the fellowship, and all the hard work for us is just it's worth the time invested.
Well, absolutely. But you weren't always into this kind of stuff, right? It's not like you just grew up like this. I mean, you had a normal 9 to 5 at some point, I assume. So tell me what life was before for T. What was life before Mountain Readiness?
Growing up, life before was exactly what we're teaching. There was no electricity, no running water, lived in tents, middle of nowhere. My father went off grid before I was ever even born. So, my life literally was a bushcraft event. That's what it was. We hunt and fish and gardened and lived off the grid. I mean, that was a usual day. I left home at 15, traveled all over the place. By the time I ended up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, I was 17 and was going to work for the Amish as a driver. And that was the 36th state that I lived in, and the 79th move I'd made in 17 years. So that was my life. And then when you grow up poor and you want more. So every I worked all the hours. I did the 100-hour weeks, and just it revolved around money. My entire life for years was about making more and more money, chasing a piece of paper with a dead person on it, because that's what we're taught in this world, right? We're taught the white picket fence, go into debt, be a 30-year mortgage, pay 3 times what it's worth. The 9 to 5, work 40 hours, then go ahead and do another 10, 20 hours of overtime. Get home, watch the television and the boob tube for the rest of the time. It's a facade, and I bought into it. I bought into that facade. My children suffered from it. Family suffered from it. And but that's what we're taught to do. That's what we're brainwashed to do. So I chased that dollar. And I finally, when we moved to North Carolina 9 years ago, it was supposed to start, it was supposed to be about starting the homestead and getting back to the basics, something that I run away from my younger years. And I fell into a job that ended up a very well paying job, but it required me to be gone a large amount of the time. And I went back to the exact same thing. So a few years ago, I decided it was time to do something different. And thank the Lord above, as from the first of this year, I went 180 degrees the opposite direction. I left that career, and I've gotten more accomplished these past couple months than I have in 9 years. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I follow you on all the social medias. I see you're building chicken coops, chicken condos. Your chicken coop is better than the house I live in right now. So maybe I'm going to come homestead on your property, brother. I don't know, but
Always welcome.
yeah. So not really into preparedness, because when you were growing up, that was just a lifestyle. I mean, that's just how you lived.
Yes.
So it's kind of weird because, that's how my grandparents lived. And now that I'm married, have kids of my own, you have to teach people, okay, how do you preserve meat? If you're family members, how do you preserve meat? How do you do this? How do you do that? It's like it's something foreign and it can't be done. There's a stigma behind all this pressure canning meat and beans. But no, this is something that they've lived on for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's not for the weak of heart, but it's easier than we thought. Let's see. So Christy says, if you build it, they will come, and you're absolutely right. So last year, we saw a lot of top-notch preparedness gurus. We saw instructors, we saw authors, medical gurus, even some ex-military folks and current military folks, although they don't like to admit it sometimes. Well, what can we expect this year at Mountain Readiness?
Well, this is going to be the showstopper. We went all out on this one. We will have everyone from Daniel Salatin from Polyface Farms to, and that's going to be hands-on chicken processing. So we said, what can we do with chicken processing that we really haven't seen anywhere else? So Friday morning, you will be able to sit there and learn from Daniel about raising meat chickens. Then you're going to actually process not one but 2 chickens if you signed up for that class. And after you're done processing the chickens with Daniel, Mike Dixon, the Fit Farmer, we've got Jason Matias from Seeds for Generations, Chantal Mullen from the Farm and Forge, and a few others that will be assisting in this. Then you can go over and you can the chicken. So, I mean, you're literally from start to finish processing and preserving all in the same day. And then, of course, the full crew of tactical riflemen. We've got Carl Erickson, Emery Morgenstern, and Sue LaRue. I hear Randy Worst may be coming as well, which would be completely awesome. And I don't hold me to it, but I believe that's actually going to happen. We have Kaylee Richardson from the Honeystead. She's going to be teaching herbal infused honey, and then survival bee. Of course, she's huge into the bees, and an awesome person all the way around. We've had just great dealings with her all the way up through to this point with the event. Black Armor Defense, Byron Russell, which was Carl Erickson's assaulter overseas, one of his assaulters. Of course, teaching drone and anti-drone, which is something that I feel is super important in this day and age of technology, of way things are going. it's a star-studded event. Of course, we have the man of the hour, Pete Robertucci, is going to also be there, along with Franklin Horton and Chris Weatherman, all in that same area. We've got Brian Duff from Mind for Survival. You guys all going to be hanging out right up there in the Angry Land.
Well, I certainly don't deserve to be in that lineup of authors. I'll tell you that right now, but I do appreciate that.
You do. I got all spiffied up and even wore this shirt just for you.
Look at that. Is that one of the angry or the Eden Army shirts? Look at you go.
That's the Eden Army shirt right there, just for you. I took a shower just for you, man. Cleaned up, the whole bit.
Outstanding.
Put a little wax in the beard.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of that shirt, stick around because we're going to pay some bills here real quick, and we're going to actually run a promo for the guy who built that shirt. So hang tight, and we'll be back with Robert T. Toombs from Mountain Readiness.
This episode of Eden Podcast is brought to you by Graphic Source of Central Florida, your go-to destination for custom signs, decals, and t-shirts that make a statement. The team specializes in turning your ideas into eye-catching, personalized creations. Look at that awesome Eden Army sign displayed behind me. It's just a glimpse of the creativity and craftsmanship you can expect from Graphic Source of Central Florida. From concept to creation, they handle all your t-shirt needs, ensuring quality and uniqueness that sets you apart. No matter where you are in the United States, they've got you covered. Graphic Source of Central Florida can ship your personalized creations right to your doorstep. Contact Graphic Source of Central Florida at 386-668-0288. Elevate your brand, style, or event with personalized creations from the experts at Graphic Source of Central Florida. Graphic Source of Central Florida, where imagination meets expertise. Call them today for your custom design needs. Tell them Pete sent you.
Well, there you go. That's the guy who actually built that shirt, designed it, and everything else. So, and also, he also made the "We Are the Tribe Your Mama Warned You About" shirt. So, he's a nice guy, Dan McCarrick. We appreciate everything you do for us, young man. You certainly deserve a promo here on the Eden Army podcast. So, T, now we were talking about this in the pre-show. We've done everything in our power in our lifetime to stay out of in front of cameras. We didn't want to be in cameras. We wanted to hide. We wanted to be away in the woods, maybe in a tree stand somewhere, hunting. But here we are. Here we are doing this kind of stuff, and it's ridiculous. I get it. So, but you've been a busy guy on social media. Let's talk about your typical lineup for the week, Robert T. Toombs. Let's talk Monday night. What do you got going on Monday night?
Well, and now Monday night, we just started the Mountain Readiness podcast, or the live stream, which is Mountain Readiness Monday, we called it. And that is with myself and Joe Tedeye from Dual Survival was crazy enough to jump on board with my train wreck. I don't know exactly why. We just kind of hit it off here about a month and a half ago. And so we've got the Mountain Readiness Monday live stream. And of course, I'm on there with Chris on Wednesdays on the Angry Nation. And then I've just been hitting every single podcast and live stream I can, trying to get the word out, trying to get as many people to come and socialize and fellowship with us here at the Mountain Readiness Expo. But yeah, man, I feel you on this social media stuff. I ran from it. I despise it. But unfortunately, it's a two-edged sword. It's a necessary evil. And I realize that. I get it. So reluctantly, kicking and screaming, here I am plastering my face all over social media for the world to see.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. We are more of I have the face for radio. Somebody told me one time. So imagine that.
I try to cover mine up. I try to cover mine up. Just grow the beard out.
I can't. If I haven't hit puberty yet, I can't. I just can't do it. It's not quite there. So busy week. 3 of the 4 nights you're there, and talk about we have to shuffle our podcast times and stuff like that around all of our friends, right? I mean, we got Chris does all
each other.
Yeah, Chris does his stuff 2 nights a week, and then so I pick Friday night, thinking no one's going to tune in on Friday night, but of course we definitely get a good turnout over on Kick, and then Monday you do the Monday thing, and then you get slack for Stump Knocker. So, but luckily for you, luckily for
Yeah,
you,
and that,
they dropped it down a little bit.
I'm glad. I'm glad because Stump Knocker I completely forgot about, and I felt horrible. And I apologized to Nick, and he was like, "No, man, it's cool because we can, I can get to bed a little earlier for the hours." But yeah, I thought I had it nailed down. I was like, "Well, everybody else has every single day of the week except for Monday. Who wants Monday?" And then of course Stump Knockers right on top of it.
It's rough being a nice guy during all these things, but it's good because we are a part of a community, and we it's like even I stagger my book releases for a little bit of time after Chris's book comes out or before Chris's book or whenever. I try to stagger my book releases to let their stuff soak for a little bit, right? And then of course because I know everyone's going to buy their stuff before they're going to buy my stuff anyway, so I kind of make it happen that way.
Your artwork's looking good, Pete. I don't know. You got some killer artwork going on. I mean, you may shoot for the wow factor.
That's what I'm hoping for. You can't make it, fake it, is what I was always taught. So talking about Mountain Readiness, T, where do I sign up? Is it too late to sign up? And do you have a website? What are we doing there? I know we saw the promo, but you tell us.
Yeah, man. So Mountain Readiness, it is not too late to sign up. www.mountainreadiness.com will take you where you need to be. We're roughly 2 weeks out now, I believe. It is going quickly. I mean, it feels like 6 months ago when we decided we were going to do it again. And here we are, we're almost there. So yeah, mountainreadiness.com, Facebook, Instagram, both Mountain Readiness. And then, of course, Monday night podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can tune in and hear me run my yap along with Joe Tedeye. And, of course, Chris Weatherman, the Angry American, on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. As long as his internet is holding up, we make that happen.
Absolutely. It's a hell of a schedule you guys are running. And look, I don't know about you, but these podcasts, I get so nervous. I'm in the bathroom 5-10 times before the podcast. I'm studying. I'm writing stuff down. I got to be so anal with everything. So I don't know how you and Chris just kind of just throw it together and do it and make it look seamless. It's amazing to me.
It's that it's not really a talent though, Pete. It's Amber, my wife. She can't stand it. Everything on me is broke except for my mouth. That's it. Everything else is broke, man.
See,
back broke, leg broke, mouth ain't broke.
I may be now. I'm getting older now, but I'm just the opposite. I'm running pretty good from that aspect, but I hate to hear myself talk. I hate it. I don't feel like I'm that interesting of a person, but I understand the whole concept of putting yourself out there. So I'm doing it. This is what we're doing. So. Now,
You're doing a great job, Pete.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. So you do something that I find interesting. It's a hobby for me. I do a little bit of forging. I get the metal hot and I bang on it a little bit. And tell me about that. Tell me, is that a hobby for you in this forging, this knife making? What's going on with that, brother?
So yeah, man, it was a hobby for the past 4 years. And I pretty much so just dove headfirst into it the first of the year. Before this, I was a regional operations director for a very large transportation, heavy truck and trailer repair corporation. So, my life was spent on Zoom calls, traveling through 24 states, on the phone, 500 emails a day, 100 and something phone calls a day. I mean, it was just relentless, 24/7, nonstop. And I got burned out, and I said, I got to do something different. That's when I took that major 180, and I went to work for my good friend Kyle Gahagan with Gahagan Customs. So I am a full-time bladesmith now, and we do work for Jason Knight, TKL Knives, and we also do work for ourselves. So I have my own line of blades that I've started on. Right now we're working on tomahawks. And of course, I'm trying to fit that into the schedule. But Tombstone Blade Works is my company. And Kyle has Gahagan Customs and Valhalla Combat, or Valhalla Tool and Knife. And we all just work together. And it's a great I tell you, Pete, if you like doing forging, you need to come here, and we're going to take a whole day with you, and you can hang out with us and forge a blade, start to finish. We'll get that thing. We do the whole thing too. You know, we do kydex holsters, the sheaths. We do all that. So you come down, you come hang out with us. Bring the camera crew along, and we'll do some video, and we will forge a blade out with you right there, the whole thing start to finish.
Perfect. Well, maybe we'll do that, and maybe we'll make an Eden Army knife or hatchet or something, and give it away to one of our subscribers or listeners, or even someone just randomly that happens to pick up one of my books. That'd be awesome. And I may take you up
That's
on
a great
that.
idea.
Yeah. So maybe we'll certainly do that. So what we're gonna do, Russ, if you got any questions in the Kick chat, why don't you pop them up for T and myself? If there's anything going on in Kick chat, go ahead and pop it up. And I promised him I'd only keep him here for a half hour, and we're getting close. So,
Man, you're good. You're good. Take your time.
So Reverend French says he grew up with no running water and didn't know he had it bad until somebody actually told him. Yeah, I know. Have you ever? Finch will be at the Mountain Readiness. If you don't have if you get any time to take him aside and talk to him about his journey in life, that is something definitely worth listening to.
Finch is awesome. I actually met him. I met him the last Mountain Readiness there in October, and great, awesome dude. And I agree 100%, man. That running water thing, you don't know how important water is until you get to pack it up from creek up a hill about a half mile.
Yeah, exactly. Uphill both ways is what my dad used to tell me. I don't know. So, Battle Gnome Corey says he's looking forward to Mountain Readiness. He kind of equates it to Vegas. He says what happens at Mountain Readiness stays at Mountain Readiness. Well, but Corey, that's not quite the case with Guy and Christy. Let me just say that off the.
Well, there is that. There is that. We know Christy's listening too.
Oh, she's over here.
Holy crap! I can't believe you went there.
Oh, did I go there? Look, nothing's sacred with me. That's the way it works.
Nothing. Oh, yes, he did.
Pop that one up from Wayne when you get a chance to. Is that a glow in the? No, it is not a glow. What actually happens is when T puts anything on, it naturally emits a glow. So that's what you're seeing there.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, it's my inner chi. It's just my inner chi radiating.
Exactly. Let's pop this one up with Wayne real quick. Madman Wayne says he hangs on my every word. Don't do that, Madman. You have taught me so much, and you've been a ton of help to me and my family. I appreciate that, Wayne, and we certainly enjoy having you there. I enjoy having you as a friend and as someone I know that has my six at all times. So I appreciate you for that, Mr. Wayne. Oh, they're popping up, T. Will asks, what can you tell us about Joe's knife? Tell me about it. I don't know what that is.
Oh, man, I don't. So Joe, Joe, myself, and Kyle Gahagan, we came up with a collaboration blade with Joe, and it is called the Ground Branch Tactical Knife. Of course, Joe was Ground Branch guy. A lot of people don't know what that is. CIA operative. Some of that hardcore only. I think it's like 90% don't even make the cut, and you can't even join. You can't apply for Ground Branch. They actually recruit you. So pretty elite group, and the blade was a concept that he had, and it's going to be a great piece. We're going to unveil this thing at Blade Show Atlanta, where Joe is going to be there. We're also going to be unveiling for pre-orders the Dalton with Chris Weatherman and Alan Kay. We're going to have all four of those guys there at Blade Show Atlanta, and it's going to be awesome. I can tell you that.
When is that? Do you know the
so
dates
Blade
on
Show
that?
Atlanta is the first Friday, Saturday, Sunday of June. I can't tell you exactly what it is. If you just look up Blade Atlanta, now you want to talk about Las Vegas, guys. Blade Atlanta is the SHOT Show of knives. End of
Wow.
story. It's amazing. You got to see it at least once if you're into stabby things.
Gotcha.
June 7th, 8th, and 9th, folks.
June 7th, 8th, and 9th.
8th, and 9th.
Russ, working it from the backside. I like it, Russ. So Corey, I did see that you had mentioned earlier you didn't get a sticker. I'll definitely have some. I thought I sent some out with the pre-ordered stuff. If you didn't get it with your pre-ordered stuff, I apologize. In my error, I'll definitely get you a sticker. Kelly says, I think Mount Readiness is kind of like a family reunion with the type of family he likes. That's true. That is 100% true, Kelly. I agree.
Appreciate that, Kelly. Yes.
So let me ask you a question, T. I know it's not on the agenda. I apologize, but now you've had the opportunity to go to some other expos. You know, we saw you at one here recently. We won't name it, but we did see it. Did see you there.
You did.
What sets your expo aside from these other ones? Not to badmouth them, but I mean, what unique features do you think that you bring to the table?
Do we really
it isn't about bad mouthing, guys. You know, I like a lot of the different events that there is, but we decided to go a different direction. And you know, you have ones that have it's all homesteading, and that's awesome. You know, I love homesteading. I do it myself. We're just crazy hammering away at the homestead here. And bushcraft events. I love bushcrafting and primitive skills, but I like to cross-pollinate all of those things. And that's what Mountain Readiness is sets apart from the rest. We took tactical and mixed it with primitive skills and mixed it with homesteading and mixed it with prepping. And in all actuality, all of these things are one and the same. If you're homesteading, then you have to have homestead defense. And if you're prepping and you're canning, it's one and the same, guys. It's all the same thing. So why can't we have an event that just brings all of those aspects of self-preparedness and self-reliance together? And that's what sets Mountain Readiness apart. We went against the grain. We were told we couldn't take tactical guys and stick them with homesteaders and all this. And we said, yeah, we can. And we did, and it worked out great.
100%. I agree. And everybody was just so nice. And you're right. Everybody got along. And like I said, I've never felt safer at an event in my life. So that was pretty good. Well, if there's no more questions, Russ, if there's any more questions for T, we're going to let him cut loose and go about his honeydews on a Friday night with his wife, because I know Amber's probably chomping at the bit to spend some time with her man.
Always. Always.
Well, good to go. Good to go.
You know,
go ahead, bud.
Yeah, Pete. Yeah, no, I'm just going to tell you, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing you there at Mountain Readiness again. And Russ, of course, always in the background, working away. That guy is a freaking animal. But you guys are awesome. We appreciate your patronage and all of your just help that you give us, just down to bringing us on the podcast here. And Pete, we got to get you over on ours as well to come hang out with us and talk. And one of these days we need to get together and do a little training, because I see you putting out all this stuff of this specialty classes and training stuff you got going on. And I need to get down to your neck of the woods and make that happen.
Well, we've always got a bed for you here, brother. So you just drive yourself down here, and we'll put you through. Now Russ can attest that Russ was a little tired after our few hours of training.
Yes, I was.
And
it was, but that's the first any real training. And I'll be honest, I'm not afraid to throw my weaknesses out in the open. That's the first real solid training class I've been through since I retired from the military almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, so
but
we
enjoyed it.
Yeah, we take a little bit different approach to training. We look at it as, you're not going to have a fire team. You're not going to have a squad of shooters with you when something goes down. And how do you mitigate an active shooter if you're by yourself? How do you isolate somebody in a room if you're by yourself? It's not like you can throw a flashbang in and then go in with your fire team and take care of the guy. You're by yourself. So limited penetration tactics is what we teach over down here in Florida. And we're bringing that up to Wisconsin also. So we're going to be teaching in the Midwest and also down here. And if you can't get it from me, we've got people all over the world teaching the same doctrine.
All over.
So that's good. So guys,
well,
We appreciate you being here, my brother from another mother. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Look forward to seeing you. And, as always, man, God bless. And we love you guys over there. And give our best to Amber and everybody.
Same to you, brother. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Russ. We'll talk at you guys soon.
Absolutely, brother.
Take it easy, man.
Take care.
There's T from Mountain Readiness. We certainly appreciate him spending some time with us here on the Eden Army podcast. We're going to take a quick intermission. Let me get some stuff together because I am going to go over a little bit of current events. And we're also, I promise, we're going to go over the March algorithm to go to our second part of the medical series that we started last week. So stick around. We're going to be right back after a couple minutes. Guys, welcome back. What do you think of T? What a guy, huh? And if you are at Mountain Readiness, just pull him aside and thank him for all the hard work and stuff that he does out there, because you're going to see he works his tail off. So give him some props when you see him. So I did promise, I'm not going to beat the news to death tonight because we do want to go over the March algorithm, but there are some things that I do need to talk about. No, we're not going to go there yet, Russ. Hang tight. Okay, perfect. So we do want to talk about, first of all, I don't know if you guys saw this on the news, but New York City, a guy from Central Florida, my neck of the woods in St. Augustine, decided he was going to protest and start a revolution by lighting himself on fire.
Breaking news first at 5 for you tonight. A man from St. Augustine making worldwide headlines tonight after setting himself on fire outside the trial against Donald Trump in New York City. And you can see right there the flames and smoke as people just ran from the scene today, Anthony.
And Jeannie, that man has been identified tonight as Max Azzarello. You see two mugshots of the man here next to me. This is actually from his arrest in St. Johns County just 3 days apart in August of last year. Those arrests were for criminal mischief and disturbing the peace, both misdemeanors. So this is what we know right now at 5 o'clock on this Friday. Around 1:30, the man walked into a park near the New York City courthouse where former President Donald Trump is on trial. Witnesses telling police he opened a book bag, then he scattered pamphlets around the park, then he poured a liquid on himself before setting himself on fire. He then fell onto a police barricade. Investigators say it appears that he had a vast conspiracy involving the American government, a university, political figures, and major financial players.
It was so fast that no one could do anything about it. And once he lit himself on fire and you saw those massive flames, it was just like kind of helpless.
Tonight, our Andrew Badillo is on your side, joining us now with a closer look on what we're learning about this and the man suspected of doing it, Andrew.
Yeah, Anthony, Azzarello is in critical condition at a New York hospital. Police and witnesses say this afternoon he was outside the courthouse throwing those flyers in the air. He then doused himself in that flammable substance and lit himself on fire. The NYPD says witnesses and first responders tried to use jackets and fire extinguishers to put out the flames. Police say Azzarello left behind a manifesto. It is looking into when Azzarello got to New York.
I don't normally pay any attention to these manifestos. And you know what's funny to me is this manifesto was released within hours. Now, you remember when the lesbian terrorist who decided she was going to kill Christian kids put out a manifesto, it wasn't released for a year and a half. And even then, it was redacted. So you look at this guy's manifesto, the only thing redacted is an email address up there. But let's look at this manifesto. Let's look at it. My name is scumbag, and I am an investigative researcher who set himself on fire outside of the Trump trial in Manhattan. This extreme act of protest is to draw attention to an urgent and important discovery. We are victims of a totalitarian con, and our own government, along with many of their allies, is about to hit us with an apocalyptic fascist world coup. These claims sound like fantastical conspiracy theory, but they are not. There is proof of the conspiracy. If you investigate this mountain of research, you will prove them also. If you learn a great deal about the Ponzi schemes, you will discover that our life is a lie. If you follow this story and the links below, you will discover the rotten truth of post-truth America. You will learn the scariest and stupidest story in world history, and you will realize that we are all in a desperate state of emergency that requires action. Now, this is from his manifesto. I'm not saying this on the Eden Army podcast as fact or as anything other than this is reported already on national news within hours of this guy setting himself on fire. To my friends, families, and witnesses, and first responders, I deeply apologize for inflicting this pain upon you, but I assure you it's a drop in the bucket compared to what our government intends to inflict. Because these words are true, this is an act of revolution. So that is from the gentleman, conspiracy theorist, who decided he was going to set himself on fire outside of the Trump trial in New York City. Amazing. It's amazing to me that this manifesto came out so fast.
Almost like it was pre-planned.
Well, and not even pre-planned, but it fits the agenda, doesn't it? It fits the media agenda. So that comes out super quick when that kind of stuff happens. So take it for what it's worth. Again, doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong, and I'm only reporting on what's already being reported to in the national news. So
quite a few good comments on this one, though, Pete.
Go ahead, pop them up.
All right. I'm going to shamelessly plug mine first, but we have some others.
He certainly strikes a match again. He definitely does. Florida man. Cheers. Yeah, Corey, I'd say anybody that's going to set themselves on fire would be batshit crazy. I can't even argue with that. Rev, that's not very Christian-like of you, but yes, you are. Yes, he is. In critical condition, by the way, he did not completely off himself. Oh, damn. I love it. That's awesome. All right. Is that all? Is that all we got? Kelly, I like Kelly's. I'll pin that one real quick. That is yeah, evolution in the works, isn't it? Isn't it, Kelly? That's awesome. Yeah, Terry, I don't think he accomplished anything other than now living in a if he does not perish because of his wounds, and he's certainly going to be in pain for the rest of his life. Yeah, it's right. You're right, Terry. There's no I think scabs are going to be the least of his problem, Reverend Finch.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So good to go, good to go, good to go. All right, I'm just going through chat right now.
That pretty much covered most of them. Oh, and then, of course, Will's last one is actually pretty decent.
He said ignite a revolution.
That's pretty funny.
That is funny.
Okay, back to business.
Back to business. So, guys, we talked about last week. Let me pull this stuff up before we get too far into it. Bear with me. Hold on. Swap screen. I didn't want to do that. Well, we'll just do it from here like this. We'll see what that looks like real quick. Let's look with that. Let me get rid of that. Good. Can you guys see that good enough, or do I need to? I think that's fine. It's not exactly what I wanted, but hopefully you can see that. I says, I think he's well done.
Yeah.
You guys are terrible. Oh, terrible.
And we call these folks friends.
Right.
I love it.
But you know, the weird thing is, as soon as I heard that was a guy from my neck of the woods, I immediately go, do I know him?
Hey, he's from St. Augustine. Maybe Will does.
I know exactly. All right, guys. So we talked last week about the mandatory minimums in our IFACs, and boy, did I get some hate mail for that from the industry experts. There were posts on the internet, and how dare I'm going to get people killed, this, that, the other thing. We know what's going to get people killed is not having anything. Not having anything. That's going to get people killed. So I stand by everything I said last week, and there you go. Is what it is. So put that in your crack pipe and smoke it, industry experts. But we are going to carry on. And we're going to talk about, let me get over here. We are going to talk about an intro to TCCC and the March algorithm, like I promised. Now, this does not substitute actual hands-on training. Okay, this is just a brief, so you get to know what the March algorithm is, how it applies to your IFAC. Okay, but this does not substitute actual hands-on training. And I saw that Super Firefighter Ed's in the house and Larry's in the house. If you guys have any contraindication, if I'm saying anything wrong, pipe up immediately. And Russ, you throw it right up on the screen because I don't want to lead anybody in the wrong direction. But again, if you really need to get hands-on training, either Stop the Bleed class like Bear Independent puts on. Great class from what I understand. I've never taken it, but I hear it's a great class, so definitely worth the money to spend some time with Bear Independent. I know some of you did over at Mountain Readiness or Fallout. So from what I understand, he puts on a great class. But this is just give you an idea of the overview of the March algorithm. So good to go. Let's go. So intro, and there's only 8 slides, so it's going to be quick. So just bear with me. I know I hate slides, but look, I made these up for you guys. Eden Army logo, all kind of good stuff. So, Will. What is TCCC? Tactical Combat Casualty Care. The United States Military Guidelines for Pre-Hospital Life Support, Trauma Life Support in a pre-hospital setting. It's designed to reduce preventable deaths when maintaining your operational success. So the mission still goes on, but how can we quickly triage somebody, try to save their lives, and go on with the mission? So that's what TCCC is all about. They utilize a thing called the March Assessment Tool. The March Assessment Tool is an approach for finding and treating combat-related injuries, again, in a pre-hospital setting. 9 times out of 10, we're just prolonging their life until we get them to definitive care or get them evacuated out, utilizing the tools that you have in your IFAC. And just those mandatory minimums I talked about, nothing special here. You know, you don't have to go out and spend $1 million. Nothing special, just those mandatory minimums we talked about last week in your IFAC. And if you missed that, or you have any questions about that and can't find the replay, get a hold of me. I'll be more than happy to send it to you. Or you can look on PeteRobertucci.com, go to the blog section, and it's on there in a blog. So there you go. So what does March stand for, Russ? M, massive hemorrhage. A, airway management. R, respiration. C, circulation. And H, hypothermia or shock treatment. So there you go. That's what March stands for. Now it's systematic. It's a systematic process. Like if I get to M and I see a problem, I stop, I fix that problem before I move on to A. Does that make sense, guys? Because that's set up on the things that are going to most likely kill you quickest. So massive hemorrhage is going to kill you. Got to fix that first. Okay, arterial wound, got to fix that first. You're going to bleed out within 30, 45 seconds, a minute. Okay, airway management, I could live for probably 3 minutes. Okay, so we got to stop the massive hemorrhage first. Let's go on and break them down a little bit better here. In this context, massive hemorrhage, we're talking about like when I go up to a patient and I look down, I go, holy crap, that's a lot of blood. Probably massive hemorrhage. Okay. If I go up to a patient as I'm walking up and I see something squirting out of their arm or their leg, probably something I need to take care of right away. It's definitely arterial. It's definitely something very traumatic where a lot of blood was lost. Okay. How do we treat that, Russ? Well, we treat it starting off with direct pressure. First thing I want to do is grab it, put some pressure on it. Okay. It's pretty simple. Then if you have those hemostatic dressings that you have in your pack, the ones, the 4x4s I showed you with the clotting agent already on them, yeah, put those on. You can go directly to clotting agents, dump those on first, and then typically last order of business is a tourniquet. Now you got to use your best judgment here, guys. If it's something squirting that needs a tourniquet right off the bat, put a tourniquet on. Don't waste time with the other stuff.
And
so hopefully,
also, situation dictates. If you're under fire, put a tourniquet on it and get them to safety.
Yeah, here's the thing about that, and there's actually a sequence. There's a sequence of operations. So somebody gets hit, they squall out for a medic. In a non-military setting, you're going to go in as a medic on a SWAT team. The SWAT team's the leader is going to say, medics go to work, and then you're going to break off, they'll maintain security while you go to work during an active shooter event. And then you tell them when you're done working, okay? That's always an argument between the medics and whoever the SWAT, sergeant is or SWAT lead is. He's going to ask you, how long you need, medic, how long you need? And I always tell him 2 minutes, and he says, you got a minute and a half. And I say, no, I got as long as it takes, but okay, yeah, I get it. So there's always that thing there. Yeah, we're not lagging over here, Will. So that's a treatment for a massive hemorrhage, pretty simple. All the things that are inside of your IFAC, okay? Go on to the next one here. A of the March algorithm. All we're looking for here is his airway open. Is it open? And what's the best way, Russ, to know if someone's airway is open?
Watch their chest.
Well, we can look, listen. We can certainly look, listen, and feel. Yeah, no problem with that. But the first thing I'm going to do is, Russ, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Kind of like when you did the somersault out in my field. As soon as I heard you say, "Yeah, I'm good," guess what? He's got an open airway. He's talking to me. So there you go. Yeah, you could. That's a good point. I'll pop that in. Yep, there you go. Oh, I erased it on you. Sorry. Yeah, it's a good point. So you could use SMARCH, I guess. Non-permissive situations and security. I do like that, certainly. So there you go. First thing we do whenever we come to a patient doesn't have a patent airway, maybe has snoring respirations. First thing I want to do is reposition the airway, usually with a jaw thrust. Okay, the head tilt we typically don't want to do in case there's a spinal injury, right? So we'll do a jaw thrust. You'll know that's working because if they're awake at all, it's going to hurt like hell. And you can take those mandibles and push them forward on the anterior side of their body and open up that airway. So, good. Anybody else getting lag? Will's asking. Jaw thrust doesn't work. NP airway. Okay, that's the thing I showed you. It goes in the right nair, non-evasive. You can do it to someone who's awake. Okay, and it's actually a preferred method for me unless there are contraindications for an NP airway, which we talked about that last week, so we're not going to talk about them again. If they're unconscious completely, they don't have an intact gag reflex, then an OP airway is an acceptable method. But again, I don't like using an OP airway because with an NP airway, I can still get in there and intubate. So good to go there on airway. Okay, let's move it on over. Respirations, here we go. We know they have a patent airway. We know it's open. They're talking to us. How well are they moving air? Okay, that's something we need to look at. We can look at them for chest rise. We can listen. Okay, put our ear to their mouth. Is air moving? And I should mention, if they're unconscious, they're getting an NP airway. At a minimum, they're getting an NP airway. So I'm going to put my ear to that NP airway and see if they're moving air. And then I could feel their chest rise, right? OP is an oropharyngeal airway. Hold on, Christy, you weren't paying attention last week. I'll get you one. OP is this device right here. It goes in your mouth at a 90-degree angle and then rotates down. Usually it's to stop your tongue from occluding your airway. That's usually what an OP airway is used for. Good. Yeah, I mean, if you carry a mirror around, I guess you could use that. So, but typically you're not gonna pull a mirror out. You're gonna look, listen, and feel, and let it eat. So, good night, Wayne. So we find out they're not moving air. They're not moving air at all. What's our order of business here? We got that pocket mask I showed you last week. We can assist them in breathing. How often do we breathe for them? Well, 12 to 20 times a minute. Okay, every 3 seconds is a good rule of thumb. So, good to go. Now, if they have an open airway and they're breathing but they're struggling, well, now we need to do an assessment. We're not going to do a complete head-to-toe assessment, but we're going to open up the box. The box is from their shoulders down to the bottom of where their belt would be, and see if there's anything inhibiting them from breathing. A sucking chest wound. If that's the case, chest seal. Right? Or it could be something as simple as there's something in their airway, something foreign in their airway. Could be teeth, could be bones, could be their tongue. We would need to either suction or put them in a recovery position. So, good to go there for respiration. See, quick and easy. Am I going too fast? Well, I'll catch it on the replay if I am. Larry, if I'm missing something, tell me. Circulation. Part of the C in the March algorithm. Look, in the field, there's not much you can do for circulation problems, but you can use it as an assessment tool to see how bad off your patient really is. Okay, so have they started going into shock? There's ways we can do that. When I check for a pulse, the only thing I do, is it fast, is it slow, or is it absent? If it's there, is it regular? Is it irregular? Is it bounding? But boop, 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 I can feel it. Or is it completely absent? Okay, so a couple ways we do that. We can check a radial pulse here. Okay, if the radial pulse is present, that's a good indication that the systolic blood pressure is above 80. They're in pretty good shape. Okay, if it's not present, and if it's a smaller person, you can go brachial. Okay, if it's present there, okay, that's good. It's usually above 60. If it's absent there, it's usually below 60. That's problematic. That's beginning shock. Okay, so we need to be aware of that. And then if you have nothing, either radial, brachial, go to the carotid. If that's gone, then that's not good. That's not good. And again, unless you have a medic on scene that's able to give some type of fluids, there's nothing you're going to do for poor circulation problems other than close the container that it's leaking out of, which would be you tourniquet, right? But you're not going to supplement or add anything to the container because you simply just don't have it. I don't carry a 1,000 bag of normal saline in my IFAC. Just don't do it. Now, is it in my medic bag? Absolutely. But there's only so much normal saline you can give somebody. So, anyway, that's circulation. If there's any questions about that, pop them up. But that's the C in the March algorithm. And the last thing is hypothermia and shock management. Now, the basic treatment for hypothermia and shock, here's the deal. All trauma patients are cold. We said that last week. I think Ed might have said it, or Larry said it. Treat them, I don't care if it's 150 degrees outside in the middle of the desert. If they are a trauma patient, they're cold. You treat them like they're cold. So inside of your IFAC, you should have, first order of business would be that little shock blanket, foil blanket, okay, an emergency blanket. You can add layers of clothes to the person. Elevate the legs. Why do we elevate the legs? Because we want to get all that blood into their core. I know a lot of people are getting away from that, but I still elevate the legs if you're able to. And then, of course, you repackage them up for evacuation, if that's the case. But normally you just drag them off to the side until the scene is secure and go about it. So let's go back to circulation here real quick. One thing I didn't mention when you're looking at circulation, I can tell a patient right off the get-go if they're perfusing well. What's perfusing mean? That means, are the cells in their body getting oxygen? Is the blood getting to those cells? Okay. The biggest way I can tell if somebody's perfusing well, are they pink, warm, and dry? If they're pink, warm, and dry, yeah, they got they're good perfusion. Now, the biggest organ in your body, I don't care what anybody says, all the men out there, the biggest organ in your body is not what you think it is. It's the skin. Okay, and that's the first thing that's going to begin to shunt blood away from itself in order to maintain blood to your brain, your heart, your lungs, and your liver. Yeah, and what Larry said there is 100%. You do a quick pulse check between 10 seconds, no longer than 10 seconds. You don't need to wait very long. And then, of course, now remember, and this is bad to say, but typically we're not going to we're more than likely not going to be able to perform CPR in the field. In this instance, as a oh shit, we're under fire, we're probably not going to. So we call those trauma codes in the business. When I was a firefighter, we call those trauma codes, and we typically don't run trauma codes because guess what? There's nothing we can do in the field that's going to save that person from a traumatic injury like that. If they've got a bullet through their aorta, there's nothing I'm going to do in the field to stop that. They need a surgeon. They need definitive care. So better off just to call the ball and go on about your business. I know, not good to say.
Tough call to have to make.
It is a real tough call to make, but that call gets easier when there's bullets flying over your head. So that's yeah, skin is the biggest organ. We need to cycle through those a little bit. Chest compressions are again, just like what I just said. You know, we can talk. This is not a CPR class, but definitely go get your CPR card or at least get trained for all that. But there is a place for all of that, and that's not the time when there's somebody shooting guns at you, unfortunately. Yeah, it sucks. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. So skin color. Are they pink, warm, and dry, or are they cool, pale, and diaphoretic? If they're cool, pale, and diaphoretic, if they look like shit, they probably are not doing so well. So that's the first indication right there for circulation. You can tell immediately when you walk in or you walk and you look at someone, they look like ashen. All right, there's no color in their skin. All right. They're cold to the touch, but still alive. All right, that's a immediate sign that they're going into shock. A late sign of shock, actually.
So Pete, what you just described, is that diaphoretic?
A diaphoretic would mean they're sweaty. Okay. So diaphoretic is sweat.
Familiar with, so
yeah. So diaphoretic is sweaty. There's a number of reasons why you would be sweaty. I mean, he could have his kit on and running, but couple that with cool and pale, not a good sign, especially when you know they've endured a traumatic injury, right? So that's that. And then we talked about that, and we're good to go there. All right, Ed and Larry, did I miss anything in the March algorithm? If so, speak now or forever hold your peace. And we can cut loose of that. It was just a real brief thing, guy, to get you familiar with it. But certainly no reason not to take a hands-on TCCC class, or at a very minimum, Stop the Bleed. And I recommend go to Bear Independence Stop the Bleed class if he's anywhere. I don't know if he's going to be at Mountain Readiness this year or not, but if he
is planning to be there. I know Refuge Medical will be there.
Okay.
He just had a little girl. And provided mama and baby are doing well, and the last I heard they are, he will probably be at Mountain Readiness.
Perfect. There is a great, let me pop that up real quick, and all I'm going to do is really just pop the link up for you guys, because I want you to watch it, because it goes into a little more in-depth on the March algorithm, more than what we would really need. But let me find it real quick, and I'll pop the link up, and you guys can look at it at your discretion. Pro March.
So they introduced TCCC and March algorithm and all that stuff after I retired. I have taken the Stop the Bleed with Bear, phenomenal class. I do want to take a TCCC class as well. And having been a first aid instructor when I was in the military, a lot of stuff has changed. Folks, start off, if nothing else, with a American Red Cross CPR class or and their first aid class. Then go into your Stop the Bleed and then your TCCC. I know Bear's classes, he runs 3 different levels. First one, Stop the Bleed. The next one's a little more advanced, Stop the Bleed. And the third one is you're actually using simunitions and you're under fire and you are doing your first aid stuff while under fire. And that's just going to, that would be a stellar course.
Yeah, that certainly would be fun. So that link I just posted in Kick Chat, just copy it down, guys. Cut and paste it later on. That's from our friends over there at UF Pro. They mostly teach they're ex-IDF people, and they do a really good presentation on YouTube on the March algorithm. A little more than what we actually need to know, and I have a differ of opinion on some of the stuff they do. They do a complete head-to-toe assessment. I don't think that's necessary when you're under fire. Certainly if you had a medic, but as far as just having your battle buddy, I don't need to do a head-to-toe assessment. I just need to stop the holes or plug the holes and get me breathing again if I'm not breathing. But definitely check them out. And then there's another one I wanted to post since there are a whole bunch of people hating on me about the Chinese tourniquets.
You didn't tell me about that this week, Pete. You've been holding out on.
It was great. I just ignored them, but it was a bunch of
great. You are learning to ignore. I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much. I'll also on the Eden Facebook page, I can't find it right now, but I will I'll post a thing where a guy actually does a demonstration using various tourniquets and which ones failed and which ones did not fail. And actually, his name is Skinny Medic, and you can look him up on YouTube. But I'll post the exact one that we were talking about. So good to go there. Good to go there. All right, guys. Any questions about anything so far? Again, this does not replace an actual hands-on class, so I don't want to hear you guys say I'm a medic now. Okay, let's get a hands-on class together. We can do it. You can do it through us. You can do it through Bear, or you can do it through anything. If you need a CPR class, go to your local fire department and ask them, when's your next CPR class? They have people on staff to give that, and they may even give a Stop the Bleed class. Not 100% sure.
So I got a question for you, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we started this little contest for getting something free from you guys in regards to how many people we have subscribed between last Friday and coming up here Friday 2 weeks from now. How's that going?
We did pick up a couple subscriptions, but we haven't hit our 10 subscriber mark yet. As soon as we do,
how close are we?
We have 7 subscribers right now.
Come on, folks, get on it.
Who did we add? We had a guy. We added, let me go over to here real quick. Hopefully I didn't lose everybody.
Well, let's look through chat.
Guy Meta and NYC Johnson
and Kelly.
And Kelly, yeah. Oh, I might have lost everybody for a second there.
Cheese Doodle didn't. I don't see her subscribe.
You just hold on to my money, Cheese Doodle. No sense in you subscribing. Thank you very much.
Doesn't
Rev,
show you subscribe, Rev.
No, you'd have a little chevron next to you if you did. Yeah, you're right, Opie. I did get a hold of Kick and ask them what the problem was. It seems to be mostly on the Android phones. Jeez.
You're over your spending limit, Cheese Doodle.
Yeah, my credit card sucks, she says. But if they are aware of the Android problem, they promise to fix it on the next patch. but don't hold your breath. Find a laptop. So good. No more questions. That's easy. You guys are so easy. CPR from 20 years ago may not be current, but better than none at all. Yeah, Kelly, the only difference is, remember now, instead of what you learned, the airway, breathing, and circulation, ABCs, it goes to circulation, airway, and breathing. So basically, they want you to begin compressions before anything else. They want you to get that oxygenated blood flowing, because even though you don't have a pulse and you're not perfusing, that doesn't mean there's not residual oxygen in the container, and they want that moving. And plus, people were wigged out about giving mouth to mouth, so they said start something. And
30 and 2.
Yep, and compressions was where you should start.
Yep. They're actually, I took it last year, and they taught 30 and 2, and then they also taught compressions only CPR.
Yeah, and it's this layman CPR. Just get in there and 100 pumps per minute, and let it ride. Don't get her started, you guys. So cool. That was quick, easy, and simple. What else did we want to talk about tonight? Oh, Civil War movie. We did. Me and Chrissy and Guy and Mama Tooch went out and watched this Civil War movie. I'd heard bad things about it, but I enjoyed it, actually. Now, is it what we expected? Is it from a military standpoint? Why was there a Civil War? No, it doesn't tell you all about that. But the story is told through the eyes of 3 reporters, and I think they did a pretty good job. So my recommendation is go see it. Now, you're gonna see some action, but you're not gonna get the behind the scenes. Why did the Civil War happen? And of course, they have Texas coupled up with California, which, come on now. So Hollywood, if you really need to know how the Civil War is going to start, give me a call. And as a matter of fact, I have a script for you already that would make a great conservative post-apocalyptic movie. So Hollywood, get a hold of Pete, get a hold of my people, and let's make that happen. And by the way, Mark Wahlberg, I want to talk to your people too. I got a good part for you.
Insert shameless plug here.
Exactly. So we'll hit up the fire department for classes. Yeah, why not? Get a CPR class. Get it done. Now it kind of stinks because they do an online portion and they have you meet in for a hands-on portion, and whatever. But yeah, certainly, definitely worth it. And you should have it. Listen, if you have children at home, you should have a CPR. You should have a CPR card.
Absolutely,
no brainer.
And a basic first aid course. Every year when I was coaching, we had to go through heat prevention. Now, a lot of your followers live in Florida. It gets hot. Heat exhaustion, heat stroke, those things can kill. We lose athletes every year from that. And you think about it, if you're out training in your kit, most folks' kit usually weighs somewhere, if you've got a full loadout of ammo and all that happy horse shit, in possibly even a vest, you're going to be heavy, you're going to be sweating. Drink water, hydrate, use some type of work rest schedule when you're training to prevent you from falling out and possibly dying. That's my public service announcement.
Well, and there's been something kind of odd happening within the last 4 or 5 years where young athletes are just randomly, for no apparent reason, falling out on the football field. There's a Buffalo Bills cornerback that this happened to.
Yep.
I'm not saying why it happened. I think we all know why, but it's happening to a lot of younger people, a lot of athletic people, a lot of people that are physically fit, and a lot of people that listen to their primary care physician when they thought that they needed an experimental jab to save their lives. So cardiac arrest within young people right now is up 300%. Don't quote me on that. I might be off by a couple of percentage, but it's up dramatically due to blood clots in the lungs and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Opie says, if you want to see a good war correspondent movie, watch 5 Days at War. I'll definitely do that. I have not seen that one yet. Yeah, well, why not just go do it? I don't think it hardly costs anything but $5, $20 maybe tops. Go, Chrissy. Go get your CPR card. Why not? Oh, I think baby girl's credit card works just fine. I get alerts every other day about how good it works.
So there was a comment up here. Let me find it. It piqued my interest a little bit. Let me find it.
While you're doing that, I'll get a refill.
Alrighty, and oh, there it is. I don't know. We'll have to see what comes of this one. You know, I should have done the same thing. I'm about empty.
Let's see. What do you got? It didn't pop up for me.
Let me find it here. There it is. Let me try this again. Oh, it's giving me an error. It must be too far back. Okay, so the comment was from Mama Tucci. We have a great surprise coming out from Gorilla Customs for Mountain Readiness.
Oh, is that going to be a giveaway, Tooch? Mama Tooch? A guy got his new shirts, his "We Are the Tribe Your Mama Warned You About" shirts, and
Yeah, can't
he
wait to
says
get
they're
mine.
awesome.
I got my OG Eden Army shirt on tonight.
Very cool. So it is going to be a giveaway at Mountain Readiness. So come see us at Mountain Readiness. We need to figure out what kind of way we're going to give that away, Mama, and we'll give it away. But you're certainly going to like it. It's pretty cool, I guess. I haven't seen it yet. I just paid for it. So come see us at the booth. I got to get there early, Russ, because I don't want Horton snagging my spot.
Yeah, that's your spot, man. We'll put Franklin somewhere.
The new Eden Army notebooks are slick.
Yeah.
Chrissy says, I like it. I do like them.
Have mine right beside me.
We'll have those up at Mountain Readiness. So when you're taking all those classes, doesn't have that gray line on it that says not for resale. But yeah, those are pretty cool. I think Chrissy got some of those also. Guy's internet, or not guys, Will's internet. Guy's gonna. He's my battle buddy too, and Will's internet must have went out. He popped out on us. Well, that's exciting. I can't wait to see that thing from Gorilla Customs.
Yeah, we might have to spread out a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm gonna actually put my stuff in like an L shape coming off that door because I've got more stuff now because someone told me I didn't bring enough stuff at the last one.
Guilty.
So
and I was right.
Yeah, it's true. But we'll actually take up a little more room, but not really.
And shameless plug for the AA folks. We do have a new hat that we are going to be revealing at Mountain Readiness. We only have a very limited quantity of them, so they will probably go quite quick. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Copy that. Well, get us some info on those as soon as we can so we can promote those. Yeah, I know, Chrissy. I know. I already apologized to him like a million times. I did it the other night also. It's a habit. I still call Sawyer Remy and Remy Toby, and then I call baby girl all of the above. So
yeah, just keep running through the names until you hit the right one.
Exactly. And I do it so fast too, like barely. Yeah, exactly. We'll do an L shape for ambush. That way when they come out of the bathroom there, they see us, and then we put Horton in a flanking position off to the side.
There you go.
But I got to somehow position myself between Chris and Horton, so when they walk by to the famous authors, they have to walk by me.
Hey, you're getting there, brother. You're getting there.
Do I need an EA banner? Dan asks. Dan, I have a present for you. I'm very upset you haven't come and picked it up yet. And I should have brought it when I picked the shirts up. But I do have a present for you. And this is, I don't know if I told you, but this is mine, and this is actually from the guys that were on that raid. And I've got one signed for you, Dan, just because you're a good friend of the show. So if you don't get here before Mountain Readiness, Mama, make sure I bring it to Mountain Readiness.
That's what I'm drinking tonight as well.
It's good stuff.
It is very good stuff.
And Mama got to meet the guy that was actually on that raid, so she's all
I
happy
have
about that.
I have a bottle set aside that was signed by the CIA guy that was there.
Nice. So Dan, I don't know if I need a banner or not. I'll let you decide on that. But don't go through any extra work. You already made that friggin' awesome sign for me. I don't.
Trace.
Yeah.
Dan will be at Mountain Readiness. I'm looking forward to that. And I've already given him a list of classes I think that would benefit him and his crew. It does taste better if it's signed. I don't know what it is, Rev,
I don't know. I haven't opened mine yet.
apparently it does taste better signed.
Both
it should because it costs a lot more signed.
Yeah. Both of my older sons wanted me to open it, and I told them no. But I did get to give them permission that when I pass away in whatever time in the future, they can open it, and whoever is among them can drink it till it's gone.
Opie.
Oh, Mama says you need a banner.
Oh, Lord, she likes spending my money. Opie says, whatever you do, don't do a life-size cutout of me. Just do a large poster of his books. You know what? I'm gonna have one made, Opie, and I'm gonna send it to you, and you better display it proudly. It's gonna be me sitting in your corner, staring at you. We're gonna do a life-size one of Toby, Little Barack. That way, it's gonna be so much
8 by 12.
cheaper. Yeah, it's gonna be much cheaper.
It'll be 8 by 12.
Guys, I apologize on Rumble and YouTube if you were over there waiting on me. I forgot to hit the start button, guys. So I'm sorry.
Well, most of the cool kids were over here. We had 28 viewers at one time.
Yeah, so third we topped out at 30, so that's good to go. But I will replay this on the other streaming platforms. So I do apologize for those of you that haven't migrated over to Kick yet, but you'll see this on the replay.
So what's going to be your topic next week, Pete?
I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. Maybe I get some ideas.
Yeah. Guys, what do you think we should talk about next week?
No, we do have...
See what they have to say. I have one that I wouldn't mind talking about, but let's see what they have to say first.
Let's see. And we could also go through the blogs here. We did at one time put our bug out or get home bag mandatory minimums for our group. So we have that on the blog. That's one thing we can talk about. Just a thought.
And folks, if you have a bug out bag and you bring it, and as you should bring it to Mountain Readiness, there are a bunch of people that would be willing to sit down with you, go through it, and see what they think of it, give you pointers, give you some help. I had my bug out bag torn down by Chris a couple of years ago, and I went home, I changed the things that were recommended, and I dropped, my pack only weighs about 25 pounds now. The biggest rule of thumb with that is ounces equals pounds, pounds equals pain. If you can get rid of something or you have a duplicate of something, get rid of it. We understand 2 is 1, 1 is none, But when it comes to carrying stuff on your back, for those of you like me that aren't in the best of shape, you lower the weight on that bag.
Javi's in the house. Let
I
me
see
go
that.
through. Good to see you, Mr. Javi. You missed all the excitement. That's all right. Yeah, Rev says if you go anywhere, you should have some type of bug out bag in your car, or get home bag, right?
Absolutely. Hope he says you might need to add a fire extinguisher article to your page.
How to extinguish a revolutionary? Maybe we'll do a blog on that.
Properly staking down your tent for bushcrafters.
I had that handled.
Yes, you did.
One of the few that actually stayed. Javi, are you joining us tomorrow, Javi? Was that a question, Mama, or was that factual?
All right, guys. So throw up some questions or some possible topics for next week. I don't see any. A couple of folks were talking about the bug out bags.
Yeah, I'm not the best one to talk about the bug out bags because I'm a real minimalist. So
Well, and like I said, the bare minimums. My bag, for instance, it's a 2-stage bag. I could actually drop my main ruck and still live off of the more of a, for lack of a better way of describing it, a fanny pack that has all the basic stuff in it as well. I lose some clothing and stuff like that.
I'll tell you what you do. You get the Going Home book from Angry American, and you emulate Morgan's bag, and you walk with that for about 30 miles. You'll be so buffed you can carry anything.
That bag weighed about 80 pounds. He brought, the first time he stayed over, he broke his bag out because we wanted to see it. We were talking about things like that. And he pulled this thing out and I helped him carry it in the house. And that son of a bitch was so damn heavy. He goes, yeah, I got to make this thing a little lighter.
Yeah, it's true. Guy wants to talk about pace count. I did see something. Oh, it's way up there. Somebody was talking about Eden Army Get Together 2.0.
Oh yeah, you doing soot training.
Yeah, so that's something. If we decide to do that, and again, I'm not committing to that, Corey, but if we do decide to do that, I've already got 100 meters marked out in the field. So yeah, we can do, and I can actually put a little course out in the state forest back there. Yeah. Water. Chrissy wants to talk about water. Opie. Cleaning for pews, fire extinguishers, draw mechanics, sling applications. Yeah.
All right. These are great ideas, folks, but a lot of the stuff that you're asking for is hands-on. It's much better hands-on.
You know what we can do, Russ? If we decide to do an Eden Army 2.0.
Make it a mini camp.
We'll make it a mini camp, but also take 2 days before everybody gets here, and we can run them through the classes.
There you go.
And then if we can get enough people signed up to do classes, then we'll see how that works. But we know how that goes with people signing up for classes. Yep, Chrissy was learning a little bit of draw mechanics. It's like a country music song, Rev. I like that little pop-up. I don't have to look to the side and everything.
Yeah, it works a lot better for you.
I do like that. Once I read them, we need to pop them off.
Mm-hmm.
All right. An hour and 35 minutes. That's pretty good for a Friday night. What'd you guys think of T? What'd you think? He's a pretty interesting guy, isn't he? Opie, we talked about next. When did we talk about that guy? Next, when it gets cool, we were going to actually get a group together and pack from, I don't know if you read my first book, but pack from Juniper Springs to a place called Hidden Pond. It's about an 8-mile pack. It's on the Florida Trail. And we were talking about staying a night or two out there to kind of emulate what happened in our first book. So that would be pretty cool.
Well, I'll bring my side by side down and be the range master driving back and forth.
Yeah.
Safety
well,
guy.
you know what we could do? We could put you up at Juniper Springs in case something happens.
Yep. Safety guy.
Mm-hmm. I agree. T is awesome.
Yeah, he really is. He is such a great guy. Amber is such a sweetheart. I look forward to being up there with him in a couple of weeks. We'll be up there next Sunday and getting ready to get everything started for all of the stuff that we have to do up there.
Yeah, actually, Rev, a middle of the week is the best because there will be nobody at Hidden Pond. And, and maybe we can get baby girl to go with us. And you can see how absolutely miserable she is on the trail. She is hell to be around. If she's tired, that's it. I don't care if you're on the side of a cliff. You're camping right there. She's not walking another step. She's setting up her tent on the side of the cliff, and that's where you're staying for the night. Like it or not. I do have a video of her on the Appalachian Trail. I should share that. Maybe I'll share that with you guys next week. Boy,
Oh, she's going to kick your ass.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it, guys. We're going to call the ball for the night. We've got a busy day, apparently, tomorrow. It should be interesting. Battle Gnome, I'll get you one of these stickers right here. And make sure you get... She says no. Just make sure you get one from me at Mountain Readiness. Yeah, it's gonna go up. We're gonna go ahead and put that video up next week, I think. Baby girl. No, but on the Appalachian Trail there was, Terry. All right, that's it, guys. You know the routine. Be safe. If you can't be safe, be dangerous. Adios.